Good, excellent. Hi, we're live. And it is 6:33, and we can call this meeting to order, this meeting of the Cobb Area Council. And I didn't pick up an agenda, I gotta look at my computer.
First, do you want me to get you an agenda?
Oh,
It
I
would be
didn't pass
easier.
them out to you guys.
It would be easier, I have it in the
Maybe.
email. There it is.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay. So while he's doing that, you could roll call.
Yes. Kathy McCarthy,
Here.
Chris Nettles,
He's there.
and Darlene Warner. I am here. Jake Strickler,
Is not able to make it.
okay.
Business obligations.
Joe Schneider,
Not here.
okay, and Mel McMurrin. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, and now we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. Taking roll and saying the pledge is getting me ready for school.
School, yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. The agenda has been distributed, passed out, and
Get a copy here.
I have a copy.
Move to approve agenda as written.
We have a motion from Chris Nettles,
I'll second that motion.
seconded by Darlene. All in favor? Everyone?
Aye.
Aye. Is anyone opposed? Great. We have an agenda. And our wonderful secretary also made minutes. She passed out minutes. So hopefully you've had a chance to peruse those.
Move to approve minutes from July 18th meeting.
There's a seconded.
By Robert.
And any further discussion? No? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? We have minutes. And now is the time for short announcements. Which microphone are we using? I did.
Hi. Hello, hello. I have a handkerchief in my pocket, Miss Know-It-All. Hi, my name is Robert Stark, the president of the Lions Club. I have the sorry duty of announcing that John Meyer, our former treasurer and secretary of the Lions Club, passed away this week. So we miss him dearly. And there's not much else to say. The Cobbler Festival, we all know about that. You'll be talking about that. We are prepared. We are ready to make 1,200 servings of cobbler. So anyway, just wanted to let everybody know that John's gone.
Our hearts go
Thank
out to Pat, her family, and everybody
Yeah.
in the community.
Yeah, okay.
Moment of silence.
Yeah. I think we should have a moment of silence, if you don't mind, before you continue.
Yeah? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you. With much gratitude for John and all that he's done for the Cobb community. And like Chris said, our hearts go out to Pat and the family. And the Lions Club, their other family. Thank you.
Yeah, I got the call on that yesterday because she's a fire siren as well. COVID's on the rise. I just left the Scotts Valley Rancheria. An old friend of mine, White Wolf, is still recovering. And the testing for mercury poisoning, which I've had years ago, and I've tested 4 times, and I've chelated 5, and so on. I want to tell everyone that the Superfund site is still exposed, and we need to be aware of heavy metals. And it does change your personality. Didn't change mine because I had super awareness. But that, throwing back at me, is murked out. So thank you.
Are there any other short announcements? Okay. Now would be a moment where we would take public and board comment on any non-agenda items. You'd have 3 minutes. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Integrated Science
Use the microphone,
Symposium.
sorry, Inez.
What?
Use the microphone.
Okay. Oh, we're on Zoom? Okay. Tomorrow's the last day for this symposium. I did half a day today. It was absolutely full of information on the tribes and what they're doing, Terra, and which Magdalene is well aware. And part of the events are free to the public. And tomorrow is the last day, and it should be really awesome, regarding the mercury in the lake, as well as the fish dying, and they have a lot to say. And this is tribal, this is Scotts Valley and all the Band of Indians in this county. So I want you to be aware of that. Thanks, I'm going to put it off.
I've got one non-agenda item. I was asked to post in a couple of places, and I'll mention it here, that North Coast Opportunities, the EPIC Emergency Preparedness in Communities, and Clerk are all in the market to hire an AmeriCorps person, a young person. There's a monthly stipend attached to it. I have the flyer here for anybody interested in the building, but for those who might be watching this online or might be interested, after the fact watching this on YouTube, the number to call for any information or details on it is 707-998-8643. I think that's Tammy at North Coast Opportunities. But this is a really interesting opportunity for participating in work that helps to boost emergency preparedness in communities like ours. So great opportunity for a young person for AmeriCorps.
And go ahead.
That reminds me.
Use the microphone.
Yes. The CERT training that was going to be in person had been scheduled for the exact same day as Cobbler Festival. So word is from Dennis at North Coast that it's going to be postponed. Don't know the date, unless the lines have heard anything, because I think it's going to be here.
Yes, and they canceled, and they're going to make it 2 or 3 weeks after
Okay,
Cobbler Festival.
2 or 3 weeks.
Half the people weren't going to show up.
We're going to be there, yeah.
Bad timing.
Good.
There she is.
Perfect timing.
I was looking for information to share with you. Give me a minute. Does anyone else have any announcements before I pull this up? Enter. Okay, so I'm definitely not seeing what I want to see. But I can tell you about it. There's the South Lake County has what's called the Project Force Multiplier. And you can sign up to receive not fire blankets, but tools that you can carry around in your vehicle that would help you fight maybe a small wildfire that you spot on the side of the road before it becomes a big one. And you would want to contact the South Lake County Fire Protection District to register for their tool distribution. You only get one tool and one tool and a fire extinguisher per household. So there is links available online. I'll make sure it's posted to Cobb Area Council's Facebook page, but also the South Lake County Volunteer Firefighters Association, on their social media, they have a link too. So that's available.
Tools include the thing you can put on a hose to
Probably not. Probably the very cool rake thing, which that name is escaping me. The McLeod.
McLeod, yeah.
And then like a 30-gallon, no. Like the
It's
water.
a water
A
extinguisher.
water fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the silver ones.
Just a,
Yes.
Yeah,
they look
yeah.
fancy.
Good to have in your car.
You too could be, yeah. It is a big deal. And you're supposed to drive around with that in the back of your car, in the back seat, or in the trunk.
And I think numbers are pretty limited, so like, I think they have like 100 a year or something like that.
Last year it was
They-
100, and yeah.
They run
I-
out every year, so sign
Yeah.
up.
I'm assuming it'll be 100 again this year, I don't know.
Sign up.
Yes.
Okay, any other items, non-agenda items? All right. Jessica, have you had a chance to catch your breath? You're next on the agenda.
Yep, I just have a couple updates. I just came from the Clear Lake Symposium at Robinson Rancheria. It's a 2-day event. We haven't had one in 25 years, so it was all science, all about the lake. It was an incredible day. Again tomorrow, and then Friday night there's a movie at the Soparis. I think tickets for the movie are still available, so it's incredible. The tree surveying is still slow going, but we have another hitch. Because everyone's signing the right of entries, or several people are signing the right of entries to have Tetra Tech come on and survey the trees. What they're finding is that a lot of the trees actually died from red ring rot, which is not associated with the drought, which means it cannot be covered under the CDA funding that we're trying to get these trees removed with. They have to be directly tied to the drought-caused mortality from 2015. So that's new.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's red ring rot. It is not from the bark beetles, so, and it's not tied to drought. So we have to figure that out. So we have a lot of trees that are in the right of way that have died from that. And then we're seeing a lot of evidence of the Mediterranean oak borer all over the county and a lot of damaged oak. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that video that we did, the video town hall, it's on the Risk Reduction Authority's YouTube channel, because there's a lot of evidence all around the county from that. It's not confirmed, but the evidence seems to be there. So that's also unfortunate. The Tetra Tech is the company that's doing the surveying. They will be at the Cobbler Festival at the table with community development. So if anyone has questions, you can speak to them directly there. I think they may also do some tabling at Harvesters too to help with.
I have some
Questions.
here, and I'm going to do a little, I've got a 2050, the Lake County 2050, is that what you were saying?
No, I'm still talking about Tetra Tech and the tree surveying.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I thought you said community development, so I thought you were taking.
Community development's gonna have a table at the Cobbler Festival, and I think Tetra Tech might be with them.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
That's okay.
confuse you or confuse
No.
myself.
So, we've been talking about it every month for a lot of months now, and we still need people to sign those right of entries so that we can get those trees analyzed now to figure out how they died. And then we gotta figure out how to proceed. Then community development will be doing their tabling at the Cobbler Festival with more information on Project 2050.
We were
And
talking about that, and it's on the agenda later. so.
okay, yes, and so if everyone has their survey, if you've been getting those surveys, fill those out, and then we can talk more about that later. Those are the biggest things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay. Paul Duncan is not here, and I would channel him, and he is saying, be very careful. And 0 to 5 space. The first 5 feet from your house needs to be clear, and is a great indicator of defensible space. So that's me channeling Paul Duncan.
Great job.
More important, no, not more important, equally important, but moving on is the long-anticipated, long-awaited introduction of Jason Tormino from PG&E. He's the PG&E. He's their government affairs representative, and we look forward to learning more about you.
Ta-da. Yep, it's on. It's done. How about that? Okay, yes, great. I'm Jason Tarmino from PG&E. I'm your local government affairs representative for Lake County. So that means I deal with pretty much everything government. So these advisory commissions, politicians, staff members, all sorts of issues. And I'm really a resource. So I brought a stack of cards for everybody. Specifically, I wanted to touch on the projects that are going on in the Cobb area right now. So we have one undergrounding project, but that is encompassing multiple years and several miles of undergrounding. Right now it's Bottle Rock Road and Highlands Road. And then we have 2 other what we call reconductoring projects, which are more significant in the miles covered. So what that means is that we're hardening poles. So that's often taller metal poles. And then what's often referred to as covered conductors, but just that's what that really means is we have insulated wires. What that means to you and I is that when a tree falls on an insulated wire and knocks the wire onto the ground, that it should not catch on fire. Whereas traditional wires, if knocked to the ground and they're still being powered, would start fires. And then I should mention at the same time, you know, the big initiative of PG&E several years ago, which continues on, is in high fire threat zones like this, to have all of our circuits have line reclosers on them, which is a technical term, which means there's a device that if a branch crosses the wires or it gets knocked down, the electricity will turn off in 1/10 of a second. Therefore, it greatly reduces the amount of fires that our lines cause. Now, there is something that happens when the electricity turns off automatically like that, which means your electricity goes out. We don't turn it back on until somebody comes out and physically inspects the lines. That means oftentimes that's walking the entire section where the power has gone out, or in certain areas, that means a helicopter flying before they turn the power out. But we've seen, you know, literally thousands fewer fires because of the line recloser technology, which we often called Enhanced Power Safety Settings, EPSS. Yes, go ahead. Well, give me one moment. Let me do my 1 more minute, and then let's ask questions. Okay, so in coming here tonight, I wanted to check in with some of my colleagues about undergrounding and the new wires. And one of the statements that they made is, if the community wants us to come out and talk more about these projects, we're happy to do so. And also just community awareness that one of the things that we need to do when we do these undergrounding and changing the wires out is get permissions from time to time from different landowners. So some of you and your neighbors have been contacted by PG&E, our land agents, about easements, about right of entry. And if you have questions about that, you can certainly contact me and I will find the right person for you to talk to. But that's part of the natural process for upgrading our facilities. Okay, now questions.
Can I just ask from here?
Yeah.
You may want to repeat the question.
I talked to you before that they buried all the lines in my neighborhood. I'm at the end of a line, and the best I can
Okay, so the question is, we've changed lots of lines, we've underground lots of lines, but the feed that goes from my electrical panel to the pole is the same line. Yep, no. So those are occasionally changed, and oftentimes they're not. It's a short distance. It would still be covered under our enhanced power line safety settings because it's on the same circuit. But those have not. Yes. Yes, and in fact, we have a famous example of that actually happening. So this gives me an opportunity to say that PG&E spends $1.8 billion a year trimming trees, cutting trees down, removing brush, et cetera. We need your help around your house. Essentially, people are always calling, can you cut this tree down? Yes, we will get to it. Usually not quick enough as that a homeowner wants, but for a lot of these things, we have to share responsibility. And so if there's anything around your feed from our pole to your electrical panel, please trim, make it safe, both above it and around it and below it. Yes?
How do you make the decision about whether to wrap the pole or underground?
Okay, so the question is, how do we make the decision to wrap a pole versus undergrounding, and I'll just add in versus making it a metal pole versus having insulated conductor. So it is quite a scientific process. So they're starting with high fire threat areas in general. So they're not doing it in the middle of San Francisco, it's only in areas like this. They're bringing in various information, terrain, density of forests, past issues, and I'm probably missing a few, but there's an extensive process for figuring that out. That said, our program of undergrounding 10,000 miles should be an indication that there's a lot of miles to cover. Now, what most people will notice is that they say, oh, you're going to do undergrounding in my area, and you did 300 yards over here. That hardly seems like very much when we have miles and miles and miles. That is often the case, though, not just in our area, but in other areas. It's a specific length of wire that they want to underground, whereas the other ones will remain the same, or they'll add new conductors. But for sure, Jason Tarmino's not making those decisions.
Are you done in Middletown? Because I've been hung up on that. I'm going to class every Tuesday and Thursday night, and then sitting there waiting to get home for 15 minutes.
Is PG&E done with the traffic control in Middletown? I have no idea, but I can assure you when that particular project is done, there's another one coming after it. We're more than 100 years old, so it is a constant replacement and upgrading process. So when that's done, get ready for the next one. Well, thank you oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So you said that you were working on Bottle Rock. Where is it that you're working on Bottle Rock besides what you did last year?
Okay, I don't know the answer to that, where we're going to be undergrounding versus doing connectors. When I called my colleague about where work is scheduled for this region, he said wires everywhere, Bottle Rock Road and Highlands Road for undergrounding. But he didn't tell me specifically which mile marker and which and
I mean, Jessica had said it was to Sulphur Creek and it was supposed to be done this summer, but nothing on Bottle Rock has been touched, so that's why I was wondering.
yeah. I think probably the best thing to do there is for me to get a written report about what our plans are. I've seen a map that had lots of yellow, lots of blue, many symbols that they sent to me to help me for this evening. No legend. It was undecipherable to me. And I thought, if I brought that, it's going to start more questions than I'm going to be able to answer.
It would be nice if you could give us, if you could find out.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe bring it next
Yeah,
month or send it.
yes. I think that's a good idea.
So Jason, is your plan to come back next month or send the report to us and we can?
From a report standpoint, as soon as I get it, my plan is to send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then will you leave us a few of your cards?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
So we want to know how to call you and say hello.
Yeah. The fact that mine says Patty Poppy CEO, don't worry about that.
Oh, okay. That would be kind of cool.
Okay. Oh, one more
Oh,
question.
yes.
This would involve Jessica too. If they run the power from the pole underground to your house, that's gonna require a permit.
Yes.
Because they're gonna tap into your power. And if you're like me and have a 75 amp breaker box, you're not up to code, which means now you have to invest into your own house. You need to get a permit. Then the tax assessor, after you get the permit, is gonna raise taxes. So it's a very complicated thing to run the wire from the pole to the house and go underground.
Yeah, and my understanding is that we're not doing that right now, but I'll confirm if that's happening at all or what our plans are for that. I don't know the answer to that.
If the county was to waive the reassessment, because you did that, that would be one thing. But if I'm gonna get reassessed, I'm not really interested in it. That would be something that would have to be brought up by the board.
I'll try and put that in the letter back to the group.
I have a question.
Yes.
I've got several letters, and it seems like it's real now that they'll be in the neighborhood cutting trees on my property. If I want to be alerted when they're there, should I call that number, and is that something I can request, or do I just have to keep my eye out to see what's coming down when?
You should definitely call the number if you want to be there.
Okay.
You know, we have a responsibility of inspecting every line every year. In high fire threat areas, that's often twice. We often have multiple inspectors that come out after that to determine what trees to trim and cut down, and then people that come after them to do quality assurance, and then a crew that may come and do something, and another crew that may come after them. It is an arduous process, and so I have been doing this for 6 months. Trees are the biggest challenge that I face, the biggest number of complaints, and I don't have a solid answer for you that if you call that number, they will call you and tell you that they'll be there at 8:30 on Thursday, whatever, and that it will happen. Usually the trees are marked.
Yeah, they've been marked.
And if you have a tree that's marked that you definitely don't want trimmed or cut down, I think the number and reaching out is a very good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about where the chips end up.
Okay. Oh, hold on, like one in the back there.
To answer his question, I've had great conversations with probably, I would say in the past 3 years that I've been home, I'm retired, probably with more than 30 people. They come to my door, they tell me when they're gonna be, and each crew does come to my door.
Come to the door, okay.
But the one thing I did forget to mention is that a lot of the tree trimmers said, oh, we can't do anything with the tree, we just put it down. And I've heard that they're supposed to come and clear the tree and figure out how to get it out of where it's at. It's not so inaccessible that they can't do it because they can get there. So that's something I would, on your card, if I call you, would you follow up with that?
So, it's good to hear that people are coming to your door and knocking on it, and that it's happened 30 times, and that it sounds like people are friendly. So it's very nice to hear that, because sometimes I hear the opposite. So thank you very much. The rules that we're operating under are that when they cut down a tree, they're supposed to take everything away that's and grind it up that's less than 4 inches, and that they're supposed to cut the tree into manageable 5-foot sections and leave it there with the idea that it is your wood. And the secondary idea is that that's part of the agreement with our regulators, that we won't spend more money hauling the wood away. It's often not appreciated by the homeowners, because 5-foot logs are not manageable. I have a place in the mountains, not with PG&E, and they did the same thing there, and it took me like 3 years to cut it up and split it and make it into firewood. And every single time I was doing it, I was not thinking they'd done me a favor. But those are the rules we're operating under.
Well, they haven't been following them on mine and my brother-in-law's property.
Yeah.
I have a 30-foot tree down.
So in that case, I will give you my card. People do contact me about this, not every day, but several times a week. We have someone in our government relations team that I forward these to who specifically deals with tree issues, and he works with our tree team to try and resolve some of these things. I would say it is the most intractable and challenging part of my job, dealing with these tree issues.
There was, speaking of trees, there was 2 or 3 different contractors that came through and marked one, because I'm probably in the neighborhood of one of the most dense trees, so highest risk, right? I don't know why so many, but there's still a lot of trees marked. But now that the line's been buried, there isn't a plan to take any of those down, right? So they marked the ones they were gonna take down. And they marked them differently. There were so many contractors, but they're still there, and they're dead, a lot of them, right? And probably high risk and falling down, but, you know, they're within the area that PG&E would normally trim.
Yeah, that's a question I haven't been asked before, just running through this scenario in my head. There's probably lots of power lines in your area that have not been buried. And I don't know how they look at it from a wildfire risk reduction standpoint. And sometimes these things have a life of their own, that they're on a list somewhere because they've been marked and inspected, and maybe they will come. It doesn't seem to make sense, but maybe they will. I don't. If you sent me an address, I can forward it to my teammate who can probably get you an answer.
Initially, they were burying, or chopping down trees at the same time as burying lines. And I asked them over to like, why would you chop down trees if you're burying lines, right? Because I think they're all pretty much, except for the end of the line, buried in my neighborhood. You know, the end of the line stays strong and fire.
Right, and I don't know specifically, but you know, fires travel distances, so cutting trees down someplace could be a good fire break, but I don't know. Okay, maybe last question. Well, it's great to hear that they were really good, so thank you for that. Oh, great, wonderful. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, another question.
No, I have a comment.
Comment, go ahead. Or use the microphone, maybe. Oh.
This is following up on what Paul was talking about. I was listening to the radio about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The governor just had a bill, Zone 0 bill, which is going to require all homeowners to clear all vegetation within 5 feet of their structures. So that's going to be a law. So I'm going to have a friend of mine say, well, that's crazy, how are they going to enforce it? Insurance companies.
Yeah. Yeah. I know
It's
some.
called Zone 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't got a copy yet, but I am going to get a copy.
Yeah.
It's good practice.
What's that?
I said it's good practice anyway.
It's a very good practice.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Okay, Lake County 2050 is our next item, and Chris is going to tell us about that.
For sure, yes. Lake County 2050, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Local Area Plan Advisory Committee, which Jessica appointed me to a few weeks ago. But I also want to talk about the process in general. A few months ago, Maria Turner was here and described the Lake County 2050 planning process, the general plan. which is the plan for the overall county, and there are certain elements in that plan that I don't have in front of me. Maria did a wonderful job describing that, and they also did a session where they gathered a lot of community input here, so many of you were here. And there's also been one survey that has been put out. We got about 22 respondents from Cobb, which was the lowest respondent area. So I'm going to really work hard to get more input from our Cobb community as this process continues, because there's another survey out right now, and I have a copy of it up here. I also have a list of the key issues that came out of that first planning, or that first community input session that Maria and her team did, as well as the survey. So this is the yellow thing up here. You're welcome to come up and grab at the end of this evening, or you can come grab it now. I don't, any time is fine. The local area plan advisory committee has been appointed, and we will start meeting in September. Those will be public meetings, so keep an eye out for those meeting dates and times, because we want you to come and help us figure out the plan for the Cobb area, because this is there are 8 plans around the lake, and there's a specific Cobb area plan that we're going to be working on that hasn't been updated since 1989. If you're interested in all the background material on this, the 1989 plan, the old general plan, you can go to lakecounty2050.org, lakecounty2050, all one word, .org. All the documents are there, all the meeting minutes from the general planning committee are there, the old plans are there, or links to the old plans. You'll find everything at lakecounty2050.org. You'll probably also find a calendar if you're interested in coming to the Cobb planning meeting and you want to listen in on the Middletown planning meeting too, because what they do affects us. We're all connected. All that information is on Lake County 2050. I have wonderful cards up here with a QR code on them too, so really fancy. Maria and her team are working really hard on this project, and they're doing a fantastic job. So me to you, Jessica, thumbs up. And please come up and take a look at the current survey that's out. I have paper versions of it, but there is an electronic version of it. This is a pages-long, extensive survey, and it's somewhat technical. So you may need to go to the website and look at some of the land use designations and the terminology that they're using. And if you do the online survey, you can save it and come back to it later. So it's not like you have to do it all in one sitting, because it is a little intense. But I would really love it. I think the local area planning advisory committee would really love it if Cobb had more input than any other area this time, because we only had 22, we were the lowest. So I'm going to invite everyone that's listening to this, everyone in the room, and everyone that is in with shouting distance to please participate in this process. Any questions?
Well, it's just that there'll be a table at the Blackberry Cobbler Festival.
Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you. There will be a table
Yes.
at the Blackberry Cobbler Festival.
If anyone has any questions.
Yeah, yeah. And they can answer questions as well.
And where do we find the link to this particular survey?
LakeCounty2050.org, and there's a Cobb area section there that you can get directly to the Cobb area survey, because the survey is specific to us. There are also surveys specific to the other areas and as well, if you want to look at what they're, they'll have so there's a key issues sheet for each of the planning areas as well, if you're interested in seeing what key issues came out in each of the planning areas. So there's extensive amounts of information as we move into this process more deeply. And again, the local area planning advisory committee will begin meeting in September. We don't have dates yet, but it's coming, so keep your ears and eyes open. It is separate from this meeting.
And thank you and to the rest of the committee for signing up to do this important work. Who knows how long it'll be in place, but thank you to Robert Stark and the 1989 committee. Your work lasted for 35 years. So
Yeah.
nice job.
It's great bedtime reading.
It is. All right, any other questions, comments? Chris, don't get too far away from the microphone. It's time for a treasurer's report.
I should have brought my glasses. So the treasurer's report for this August 15th, 2024 meeting, we reported at our last meeting that we had in our general fund $30,496. I'm not going to do the cents. Since that meeting, most of our activity has been out of the Blackberry Cobbler Festival account, as you can imagine. We have, all accounts combined, we have spent $11,899 in the last month. If you're interested in the specific transactions, they are here in my treasurer's report. And you can find the specific current account balances of all of our accounts. We have a general fund, a Cobbler Festival fund, a Cobb AlertNet fund. We've had this emergency preparedness fund that has about $2,500 in it that hasn't been touched in a couple of years. So if you have any ideas about spending emergency preparedness money, it is there for us to do something with. So if you have any ideas about that, please talk to us. There's also, we're the fiscal sponsor for the Sculpture Jam, which has a couple of $100s in it, about $200, Gwyneth, so just so you know. And right now, our total net assets, that includes our small business loan fund, which we also haven't touched in a while, we have $66,679.
I have one question on the expenses for the general fund. The 300 for the Lions Club, it says June twice. Should one of those be for July?
Yeah, thank you.
Or
did I just?
May and,
Yeah, I didn't correct it.
May,
It's June and July. Thank
June
you
and
for
July.
that.
Okay, not May and June, June and July.
No, good catch. Yeah, there were two months. So there was a June, and the other one is July, because we did
Okay.
have 2 months hit.
Right,
So,
okay.
it's just a typo on my part.
Yeah. Just
Copy
one.
and paste error. Thank you.
Yeah, we all do those.
So I can get you a corrected report for the minutes. That'll
Okay,
take
that
2
would be
seconds.
great, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
All right, thank you.
Huh?
All right, thank you. All right, we are on to committee reports. Is there anyone from the Firewise committees who would like to report on anything?
No, I heard from Magdalena. She texted me and said that they're at a symposium in Upper Lake.
Okay.
I believe it was Upper Lake. So perhaps that's the science symposium. Yeah, and so neither her nor Elliot will be at tonight's meeting.
So no Magdalena, no Elliot today. Glynis, oh, no? Okay. Yeah, you were still on the paperwork. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, in my capacity as fire marshal, I've been keeping an unofficial track of fires in Lake County. We're at 46 since
Wow.
May 1st.
Wow.
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 Scary, scary year.
And that's also a testament to our first responders and firefighter friends that are on top of these.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And the thing is, most of it can't be corroborated because they don't show up on the CAL FIRE stats until it's 10 acres or more. And they've been stuffing them out before they even get to 10 acres. I think they've learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody wants an overview of what's been going on, what the state's been doing with the investments in mitigation and fighting the fires, I was on a panel last week with Secretary Crowfoot and Chief Tyler, who's CAL FIRE director, talked for a long time about the technologies that are being used, the deployments, the investment, and what the rest of the fire season looks like. It's really good. Mine's really short, but his is really long, and I have it on my Facebook page. I don't really know. It's on CAL FIRE's YouTube. I think it's CAL FIRE or Secretary of State's YouTube. Anyway, if you look up Secretary Crowfoot's monthly panel, it was just last week, and it's really interesting. If you want to see all the high-tech stuff that's happening up in the plains and the mapping, it's very cool.
Yeah, thank you for that recommendation. I'm going to go look at it
Yeah,
now.
it's good.
Okay. All right, thank you. How about Darlene, Communications Committee?
Yeah, well, we will be at the Cobbler Festival with our new logo and some brand-new banners, so we'll stand out, say, come here, come get your radio. We will have radios for sale. The little radios, the GMRS radios, we don't have on here.
We will be able to program if anybody does not have.
That was my next question, if we'd be able to program radios. I've had a number of people contact me about some annoyances that we've had on air with music being played in the middle of the night. Yeah, and I really want to, it's hard to say, keep your radio on when there's noise like that, but keep it on 9, you'll be fine. But we really want to discourage the music being played at night. We're not sure quite where it's coming from, but I would just like to apologize that that's happening. We do have a method to curb this, and we're doing some testing for further intervening measures that can be taken.
And if you hear a beep after the music stops, like as part of the transmission, let us know. 'Cause it's,
Yeah, that means it's going through the repeater.
yeah.
And I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I think it would be kind of, respectful to try to keep any chit chat to, shorter length of time. Not, there's some people that like to go on and on with non-emergency chit chat. To keep that at a decent length and perhaps, not at late hours, maybe, to try to limit that to 10 o'clock and stay within the noise ordinance hours type of thing, because it's even more intrusive when it's coming through into your home on a radio. That, to use our network as, what it's intended for as an alert network for our area up here and not, some social, of course. We want to be friendly and get to know each other, but, within limits. And that's all I have to say about that before I turn it over to Mel, but we'll take Duncan's question.
Since it's a violation of law playing music
Yeah,
on these frequencies, can't we just involve the FCC?
we can, but before we take that measure, we want to try to be it's civil either way, but with GMRS frequencies, it's a little bit different than commercial and other frequencies, such as what CAL FIRE uses, that would get shut down immediately because of the official nature of that, and police frequencies and that sort of thing. It's also illegal to use foul language and to not be in your right mind on the radio. So it's against regulations. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, within reason, but when it's obvious, yeah. So it's a shame, but we're all human. And at times there's things that occur, but, we'd rather not have to take that avenue if we don't have to. If we have it within our toolbox to do things, then we'll do that first.
Yeah, the trick is that the interference is not regular. If it were happening every night or even every weekend, we could track it, we could record it, we could report it. But since it's so intermittent,
Yeah.
it's hard to nail it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, luckily it does not affect our alert channel. So like Darlene said, keep it on 9 and you'll be fine. That's the little radios. They can, they're not it's not being interfered with.
Oh,
No, nighttime alert is 9. Yep, and that, you can use 9 anytime. That's for the little radios, the $10 radios. For the licensed radios, that's 40 or one of the 40 channels for alerts. Yep, I think that's all I have
Just to
add.
clarify, you said use Channel 9 when you just want to be listening
Just
for
listening
emergencies.
For emergencies. And
Not that you don't want to use that
No,
anytime
you
you
don't
want.
talk on that.
No.
But, as Darlene was saying, especially this time of year, keeping chit-chat to a minimum, and you can bring your chit-chat to a neighborhood channel. We also
yes.
have a secondary repeater on the Loch Lomond side, and I think we'll move the Hill as a secondary repeater. That could be more free,
Yeah,
because we won't be putting out alerts necessarily from there. With our mountain repeater now very well battery backed up, and so
Great.
in fact, we've tested it inadvertently and left it on
inadvertently
battery
this
power,
week,
and
yes.
we've got 5 to 10 days, probably. each.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
as long as we don't have 24/7 chit chat, that would probably drain it within,
Or a night of
yeah, a couple of days. But yeah, not to poo-poo people chit-chatting. I mean, it's fine to be friendly and neighborly, but it's the excessive. What's that? Yeah, on the simplex channels, we do not own the frequencies, but we do own our repeater. And if there's a beep after it, that means it's going through our repeater, which could be an quote-unquote inside job, or people on our network, using the radio, and maybe they're not aware that, we try not to use it for that purpose. So like Mel said, if you hear a beep after the music or after the chit chat or whatnot, then we know that it's going through our repeater on the mountain repeater. But like I'm so close, I back up to Boggs Forest, hikers, I'll occasionally hear them using their radios, and that's perfectly fine. They've got their walkie-talkie system, and it happens to be on one of our frequencies, like 1 through 8 or whatnot, the neighborhood frequencies, and it's in passing. But if they're goofing around and, it gets to be too much where, you can ask them to move to another frequency. Yes, absolutely. And, if they get injured up there and, we might happen to hear them say, I need help or something, and that's what we're here for, so.
All right.
And you have anything more to add, Mel?
No, just more radios. We're checking in, 40 to 50 people?
Yeah,
And we have 300 plus radios, so
yeah.
we want to hear from those other 250 people.
And will there, you
Occasionally.
said you'll be at the Cobbler Festival, right?
We'll be at the Cobb Festival.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already said that.
Well, radios will have new labels, and we said no GMRS radios, but I have a few that I might bring too, because I've got too many radios.
And it might be helpful to show
It's a
people the
collection.
difference between, when we're talking little radios and GMRS, and then their eyes start glazing over, and, maybe, to have something there to show the difference and what does what.
Oh. Yes, did I bring it? I did not bring the little radio, but big radios have big antennas often.
Wow.
And they can find you at the
Your
Cobbler
antennas are always bigger than mine.
All right. Awesome, you guys. Thank you.
You're
I'm hoping
welcome.
that after my cobbler, every Wednesday night cobbler meetings are
Right.
done, I'll be back on the radio.
I always should have everybody check in when they're at your meeting.
Yes, all right, next time. We would have the Forest Health Committee next, but they're not here.
Right.
I don't know if there's anyone in Elliott Stead. Economic Development Committee, Chris?
All of our Economic Development Committee activity has been oriented towards the Cobbler Festival, so I will defer to your report.
Okay. It's 9 days away. I've got to folder full of permits. And I'd like to take this moment to thank our sponsors. Calpine at the Geysers has sponsored us for the 4th time. Thank you. They're our platinum. And a dark horse out of nowhere, Sutter Lakeside is our co-platinum sponsor. So you'll be seeing both of their logos on the back of our cups this year, which have a new look.
Yay.
Super excited about the new look of the cups that you can purchase. We are very grateful to Reynolds for being a gold sponsor, and Hardisters is a gold sponsor again, and they're also sponsoring the official Blackberry Cobbler Contest, where you can enter your cobbler to win the coveted spot on the Kelly Stuckey Perpetual Trophy. And then we have, I think we have another gold I want to mention. I'm going to go to silvers. My silver people are, I can't see. One of Cobb's newest businesses, the Fainting Couch, as they've pledged to support us, and Mandala Springs has been a great supporter these past many years as well. Kelsey Creek Brewery is showing up again to vend. I can't say for sure if there's a blackberry seltzer this time.
They were working on blackberry flavored something.
They were working on blackberry flavored something, yes. Thank you for confirming that.
It's just as vague.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I added anything there.
Okay. And then we have some bronze level sponsors, and our bronze level sponsors, we would at this time acknowledge Belmont Pines, formerly known as Mountain Meadows, the Twin Pine Casino and Hotel, Lake County Waste Management, and Alan Hurwitz Media, and I think that's about all of them. Oh, I don't want to leave out Bottle Rock Candle Studio, who's donated an in-kind donation of time. Jennifer Gata has been an amazing director of our planning commission, and big shout out to Jennifer Gata. She's doing a fantastic job. And the people that have been by her side the whole time, Chris Nettles, Jill Grigsby, and Cliff too. He was at the last meeting. Marilyn Wright. Help me.
We got Sally Wialchlik, who's our social media human.
Yeah. Our social media human got thrown into the thick of everything. Hey, it's a cobbler festival. Here's everything. And she's doing a bang-up job there on Facebook and getting all those sponsors acknowledged and letting people know about all the exciting events that are happening. We've got a couple bands coming. 3 on the Tree. I didn't mean to jump away. Did I leave someone out?
Probably, and if we left you out by accident, we apologize and
not on
we'll
purpose.
mention you another time.
Yes, we will. 3 on the Tree, and we have an old favorite. The Gill Brothers are coming back to perform. Cobb's own Gill Brothers, very excited to come through for us. And they're also taking care of sound all day long, which is a big deal. And we have our art contest, and
I think we have about 75 food and artisan business vendors, so maybe closer to 80. Did it go up to 80?
I think it went up. I don't know. All right, 75 or more.
Or more, 75 plus.
Oh, because there's also the nonprofit booths. So I think when you count in the
Oh,
nonprofits,
yeah. I'm counting, for some reason, I'm counting the transactions that involve money.
Our treasurer. So nonprofit booths. So we're like up to like 100 booths.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Is the art thing, that you just mentioned, is that the thing that's in the side room and not up?
Yes, and that's true. The art thing will be in the pro shop, as is the cobbler contest. If you're dropping off your cobbler, you're going to take it to the pro shop by 11:45.
And the PTO's got a kids zone.
PTO's from Cobb Middle School is going to, Cobb Elementary School is going to be doing the kids zone like last year. I think that's a great selling point for our festival because we have a place for the kids to go and be entertained while you get to look at all of the different booths. And
Do you have or need radios for the?
of course we need radios. Yes.
You have some. If we have ones for sale, but I'm not sure if we can spare any of those.
Right. We've talked about bringing our radios from home.
Okay.
We'll have to establish what channel to use. But yeah, radios are a necessity for the day.
You could probably borrow a few
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
on sale.
That would be great.
And, yeah.
Then you'll have to call me and Kathy. It's time to bring your radio. We got a buyer. You know, I also want to mention Pine Grove Resort. They're also giving us some support. 3 Mile Brewing Company out of like Davis. They're Pine Grovers. Our Vineyards, Six Sigma.
Is there any guess at the numbers of people and what were the last 2 years?
Last year was guesstimated around 3,000, I think over.
I think we put out 4,000 is what the number, that's the number that we announced.
That we're throwing around as it was 4,000.
Yeah, I don't know how, I mean, yeah. So
We had clickers. We clicked how many people came in through the cars, but that we didn't count vendors and their family members and all that. Which reminds me, remember, admission is free and so is parking. Come on down. And all the parking on the fairway, no parking on Golf Road that day. But there's plenty of room on the fairways. And if you still want to sign up to help out, I see your
we
hand
need
is up.
volunteers.
I'm
Yes.
writing your name down now. What's your question?
I was driving by and the grass hasn't been cut.
It's been cut in the portions that pertain to our festival. Much thanks to all the guys at the West Fest. They really put themselves out there. Of course, they wanted their own event to be successful, and we tried to support them in that. We found extra volunteers to come and help, and extra volunteers to come and explain how the water system on the golf course works. And so I just really did want to take this moment. I may as well take this moment to say that the West Fest is, yes, conscientious about the success of their own event, but also conscientious about the concerns of the community and having events on a place with, such high grass. And I was actually out on the course this morning, and those beautiful sprinklers were going, and the grass is getting greener, and it's happening. Yeah.
The cobbler contest.
The cobbler contest.
You just show up with your
You just show up with your cobbler before 11:45. You fill out a particular document, and then your cobbler becomes anonymous. And all the cobblers are judged anonymously. And I may as well.
I was going to say,
mention-
do you want to mention the celebrity
The
judges that we have this year?
Yes. We have, I feel like I should double check my names. I am going to double check my names. Is there another question we can answer while I look at that information? What's your question? Who are the celebrity judges? It's going to be a reveal here in a minute. How best to get it? I'll just tell you. One of them's California Howland, who works for the Cobb Water Department. Yay. We did not have the same baker from Hardisters as last year. We have a new baker, and her name is Michelle McKenna or something like that. I'm sorry, Michelle. You're on the flyer. And then our third celebrity judge is the CEO of Sutter Lakeside. His name is Timothy. I would have had to look up his name. Timothy.
I'm horrible with names, so
Something.
if it's not in your spreadsheet.
Sutter Lakeside CEO, Timothy. When you have a big title like that, we just call you Timothy. But yeah, Those are our celebrity judges. You want to know anything else? What else? Questions? What? Oh, right, for next year. Okay, thank you. I'll have to get that name from you afterwards. Mr. Stark? No. I've not been told anything. But you remind me that there's only one place to get blackberry cobbler, and that is from our Mountain Lions. And they will be in that same spot they were in last year, inside what some people refer to as the cart barn, what some people refer to as the event center. They're in the same spot as last year. So very much looking forward to that.
12-foot long sign that says cobbler here and arrows
Are you
going up on the building.
are you selling whole cobblers again?
I was going to ask that very question. Yes, so there will be whole cobblers available.
Whole cobbler.
And
Cobbler.
then individual servings. Individual servings and the...
Individual servings or a whole cobbler. Great. Thank you, guys. All right, well, I'm excited. Again, let me know if you want to volunteer. We even have a new, if you'd like to volunteer, please email me at bbcobblervolunteers@gmail.com. BB, COBBLER, volunteers@gmail.com.
And I think high school students get...
Credit for their service hours, yes?
Yes, so high school students, we need your help.
And there are several things that we can only use an adult for, 21 and over. So vending beer and wine and selling the little tokens, checking IDs.
Yeah, we do need some over 21, absolutely.
Yeah. That's my report. More next month.
Next month will be our post cobbler report.
Yes. And next month, the meeting is September 19th. Unless anybody has something to say about that.
Move to adjourn?
We don't have to move to adjourn unless there's any other business, anything else for the good of the order? All right, we're adjourned. 7:41.